And now for something completely different. I'm going to talk about English language teaching. How's that? Yes? Okay. So in this Pecha Kucha, then I'm going to offer some general arguments for using certain kinds of specific language corpora in the EFL classroom. Now, the first question I guess I should ask is, what are corpora? Well, actually, corpora is the plural noun of corpus, and a corpus, as this man says, is a collection of naturally occurring language texts chosen to characterize the state or variety of a language. Who is this, by the way? John Sinclair. Collections of text or parts of text that are stored and accessed electronically, says Susan Hunston, another famous corpus linguist. So we're talking about electronic data here. Okay. Corpora, British National Corpus, have you heard of that? Yes? Have you heard of the corpus of Coca? Yes? And what's that thing? That's the Bank of England. Ah, the Bank of English. I couldn't find an image on Google of the Bank of English, but there's a Bank of England there. There's 500 million words of English language data from various countries. How do you access corpora? One way to do it is to put the data on the machine and to put some software on the machine too. This is Lawrence Anthony, the guy who wrote Anconch, and the bottom there is Confucius, the man who designed wordsmith tools. No, wait a minute, Mike Scott, the man who designed wordsmith tools, standing next to Confucius. Okay, I think Mike wrote the software actually. Okay. This is another way to access corpora, becoming more popular nowadays, accessing via the internet. On the top left we have the Bank of English interface. Then on the right-hand side, we've got two BNC interfaces. And do you know what this one is on the left here? Anyone recognize that? That's called the sketch engine. Yeah, that's what the sketch engine looks like. Okay, so why do teachers like corpora? Well, I guess there's corpora, a potentially wonderful resource for teachers. They allow teachers to explain language points that are not adequately covered by published resources. They're great for generating supplementary materials and great for diagnosing students' needs and difficulties. Who's this, by the way? No, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you later. And who are these people? It's generic models, okay, right? Corpora are also a useful resource for students for, I guess, the same reasons in a way. They allow learners to see the links between lexis and grammar, and actually to see that they're kind of the same thing, really. They provide a partial substitute for the lifetime of exposure that native speakers get to words and phrases. And also, they have the potential to facilitate learner autonomy. Unfortunately, things don't always work, and as you know, well, in conversations that I have with people, they say, well, yeah, we tried it, it was okay for us, but it didn't work. Why? Okay, that's the question I want to ask in the remainder of this, the 200 seconds left me. Why do people try to put these things in and they don't quite work? This guy has an answer. You probably won't know his name. His name is Alex Bolton, and he's now the kind of leading data-driven learning researcher. And he says, okay, I know the answer. Basically, we're just bombarding learners with too many new things at the same time. We're giving them a new approach to learning. Many students have learned deductively in the past. Corpora are inductive. We're also giving them a new kind of input, this kind of corpus stuff, these concordance lines, it's kind of weird. And we're also giving them a new kind of technology to grapple with. Now, new learning, new data, new software. Ah! No wonder students go crazy. Teachers too. Teachers just can't take it either. It's fair enough. Now here, who's this? Alex Bolton, thank you very much. You learned something today. Why does he have a halo on? He's got the answer, yes. If you wear a halo, you must have the answers. And indeed he does, yes. Alex has the answer. He says, our next slide will show you Alex giving the answer. I hope, come on, it's very long, 20 seconds, wasn't it? Here he is giving the answer at the 8th Teaching a Language Corpora Conference in Lisbon, 2008. He says, well, basically, what we need to do is introduce these different kinds of newness gradually and in a staged way. First of all, give students paper-based materials that have been carefully selected by the teacher. That focuses on the learning method. Okay. Secondly, only then do you give them screen-based materials, also carefully selected by the teacher. And finally, maybe, if things are going well, then you let students loose on the software themselves, because only then is it worth actually teaching them how to use it. Trouble is, talking to people, there's always a but, isn't there? When I've talked to teachers, even people who try to do this, they say, it hits the buffers, sorry, crude, does that win the prize, the worst pun of the day? Yes, probably. It hits the buffers at stage 1. Why do you think this is? My answer is because teachers, the people that I talk to, have been using general language corpora like the Bank of English. And the trouble with this is it bombards students with unfamiliar content. In the first 5 lines here, we have sociology, politics, healthcare, Manchester United, and UK celebrity gossip. No wonder students can't cope with it. And it's the same for teachers as well. Ooh, yeah. Teachers, they try using it and then they find it's very, very difficult to generate supplementary materials out of general corpora. And so they think, okay, so if you don't use it, You lose it. Okay. So what's the answer then? How do we deal with this problem? I guess my answer would be, well, we need to think about the content. We need to move away from using general language corpora. We do not, at least initially, want to bombard our students with UK healthcare or American sociology or Manchester United. Maybe that's okay. And we need to move towards a different kind of data set. We need, in other words, to start with the data, basically steal the student's textbook, put that into the computer, the data that the students are using in their everyday life. This is a sample from a project that I'm working on at the moment in Turkey. Now, these people have got their own complete set of course books, and what we've got is a concordance here of materials from students, EAP students studying sociology and political science. And here, they're looking at the word status, and it only relates to their field. And this is actually from their course book, so they need to know. Students can't say, oh, I don't care about that. Okay. In other words, what I'm saying is we need to start by using pedagogic corpora. The term comes from a guy called Dave Willis, who's in this picture here, and here is Dave Willis saying pedagogic corpus at a seminar in Birmingham recently. That is fundamentally my argument. One problem with this, of course, as I said, the university in Turkey where we're doing this, that it's going down really well. Teachers are feeling that, yeah, I can work with this stuff. I'm creating materials which the students perceive as relevant and which, kind of make sense to me and them. The students seem to be enjoying it as well. They're seeing corpus linguistics as a kind of normal part of what they do, actually. But there is a problem. The problem is this is stuff that we have in-house. We've developed in-house all these materials, so there are no copyright issues. Now, what if you're using Headway or Cutting Edge or something like that, right? What I think you should do is tell the publishers that we need plain text versions of all of their materials. So when you buy a copy of Headway, you should have a CD with the plain text, so you can put it in your corpus analysis software and use it with your students, yes? Thank you very much.